let's talk a little bit about Panasonic mirrorless cameras and how do I use them and why. Let's see. Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about Panasonic mirrorless cameras and why do I use them and why do I think that Panasonic will stay for a long time on the camera market. Now, I have to tell you that I did use in the past several times Panasonic cameras, but I wasn't really, let's say, blown away, about them. But a few months ago, I started to get more into video, and I said, okay, I have to purchase a camera for video, separately. So I decided to buy a Panasonic. But before that, I was several times in the situation when I used Panasonic cameras for photo. And I have to tell you that I was very, very surprised, how the autofocus is how fast it is, of the Panasonic, the DFD system, how they call it, And I tell you something, in most of the cases, the focus was snapped on and it was exactly precise, on the subject. I never had any issue, And I have to tell you that after Sony cameras, because I used Sony A-mount cameras as well, the A7R, the A7 Mark II, and the A6000. And I have to tell you that after Sony cameras, I used a few other mirrorless systems as well, but Panasonic, I would say the focus, I'm talking about autofocus, Panasonic is the best, I would say. Now, in point-to-point autofocus, I think that it's even faster than Sony, a little bit. But in tracking, Sony is a little bit faster than Panasonic. Now, I use sometimes my Panasonic camera, on my son's rugby matches, and I use tracking many times. And I also use the G7 and I use the G85, for these kind of things. And the tracking is okay, but it's not as good as in the Sony cameras. But anyway, why would I recommend Panasonic cameras? Because of video capabilities. Now, if you are a person who try to find a great video camera, which is not too expensive, which is fast in autofocus, which is good in photography and also great in video, I would recommend Panasonic. Now, the cameras are not exaggeratedly expensive and they are reliable. I have to tell you, the customer support is okay, not the best, but it's okay. I never had any issue with any Panasonic cameras. Now, the truth is, I didn't own Panasonic cameras, many Panasonic cameras. I own the Panasonic FZ2000/2500, and I own the little point and shoot, before, and that's it. But my friend, he owns, the G7, he owns the G85, and I had in my hand several times. I was shooting with them when we were together, out on a photo shoot, and I tell you, he never got any problems. Even if he got some small little issues, the Panasonic customer support was excellent. So I have to tell you that in this case, Panasonic is great. Now, like I said, my experience with Panasonic cameras, I used the G7, the G85, the GH4, and the GH5 I tested in the shop. The GH4 and the G7, G85, I used several times. I had in my hands and I was shooting with them, with different lenses. And the GH5 I tested only for a few hours. So, my overall opinion about the Panasonic cameras, that they are fast autofocus, great lens selection, because it's all together with Olympus lenses. You can use Panasonic lenses on Olympus camera, Olympus lenses on Panasonic cameras. And especially now, when until the G80, G85, it was an issue because the G7 does not have in-body image stabilization, and the Olympus lenses, they don't have the lens incorporated image stabilization because they all have in the camera. So it was an issue because you couldn't get a stabilized lens. If you put an Olympus lens on a Panasonic camera, that was not stabilized. But after the G80, that's solved. That problem is solved because the G80, 85, and the GH5, it has the in-body image stabilization. So you put any Olympus lens or any kind of adapted lens, it will be stabilized. Now, I tell you, the lens selection together with Olympus, it is great. I don't say that it's cheap. If you want good glass, it's not really cheap. But if you compare with other brands, you know, it's not overall it's not really expensive. It is, I would say it's acceptable price. So great lens selection together with Olympus, great image quality sensors. Now, again, G7, G85, they are 16 megapixel sensors, micro four thirds sensors. Now we have to tell you, I have to tell you, sorry, that the 16 megapixel micro four thirds, if you calculate the pixel density, it will be the same kind of like the 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor. Now, detail-wise in your photos, the photo will look like a 24 megapixel APS-C size sensor or a 42 megapixel full frame sensor cropped in 2 times, let's say. So when I use my Nikon D7200 on a 1.3 crop mode, that will be 15 megapixel micro four thirds sensor, kind of. So the 16 megapixel Panasonic sensors, they are a little bit better than when I use my Nikon D7200 in crop mode. I have to tell you, I use several times my Nikon D7200 in crop mode because I shoot sometimes on my son's rugby matches, and on those matches I need extra reach. So that's why I put in the 1.3 crop mode. But the Panasonic pictures, they are just brilliant. So image quality sensors, image quality wise, they are excellent. Great design. If you take a Panasonic camera in your hand, it's almost like you have a DSLR in your hand. The button layout, the design, you know how it is, I like very much. That's only me, I don't know. You might think different, that's not an issue. But in my opinion, the design, it is very, very good. Button layout, the grip and everything on the cameras. It's more like the G7, G85, GH4, GH5. All these cameras, they are like a DSLR style design, you know. And I am that type of person who likes DSLRs. So probably that's why it's kind of, you know, my favorite Panasonic between the mirrorless. Now, low light performance, and this is the last I want to talk about over here, because in my opinion, these are the most important things what you look at a camera when you want to purchase a camera. And low light performance is okay. For a micro four thirds sensor, it is okay. I have to tell you, it's not like on an APS-C, it's not like on a full frame, you can forget about that, but it is okay. So if you have light, or if you can add light, and most of the cases you can add light, except when you are shooting video in a concert or something, but that's a different story. But if you are shooting photos, most of the cases you can add light, and if you can, the sensors are great, excellent. And the low light performance is okay, like I said. So don't expect to have the same low light performance like on an APS-C or full frame, you won't get that, but in the same time, it is great for a micro four thirds sensor. Now, like I said, the most important things in my opinion, the autofocus, which is fast enough in photo and great in video. Great lens selection. Again, it's not a question because you have Olympus lenses, Panasonic lenses, plus you have all the adapted lenses, what you can adapt almost anything on micro four thirds. Great image quality sensors. Again, most of the sensors are no anti-aliasing filter, and that's excellent sharpness, excellent image quality. Great design, button layout and handling and all that, and okay low light performance. Now, I think that if Panasonic will keep up like this, I tell you that they will be for a very, very long time on the camera market. And after I used, you know, many times the G80 and the G7, the only luck I feel over there, you know, is that the single SD card slot. If they would release a G85 Mark II or a G7 Mark II or whatever you can call it, you know, with a dual SD card slot, definitely that would be my first camera I would purchase. Because in my opinion, that's the only luck in the camera. That's the only disadvantage in the camera, the single SD card slot, in my opinion. Now, accessories, they are not really expensive, you know, and all the rest. I think overall Panasonic is a great system, and I think that it will be for a very, very long time on the camera market. Now, If you don't agree with me, that's not a problem. You can leave a comment down below. We can discuss it in a professional manner, and we can talk about pros and cons. You know, that's not an issue. We are all different, we think differently, and that's the beauty of this world, you know, that we are not the same. Otherwise it would be too monotone. So that's not a problem. If you have a different opinion, please feel free and leave a comment down below. And I hope that this video was helpful to somebody out there, and I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and share my videos. And if you want to support this channel, please use the Amazon links down below in the description. That will support my channel to keep going, and that won't cost you anything if you purchase things, you know, through my Amazon links. That won't cost you anything extra. So I hope that you like this video, and if you like it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.